So I actually found some questions because I've been seeing like some of the questions that people are asking on the chat, like a lot of people responding and stuff. So I guess we can ask you for perspective. So Too Fast For You asks, after 1 year and 4 months, I still want my ex back. But I go to the gym, new job, better diet, hanging out with other women. How to get her back or how to move on. She's with someone new for a few months. And then he mentioned I really need to become a better man. When my emotions are in, I'm needy, insecure, impatient, and jealous.
What he needs is the consciousness exercises because your nervous system is you're emotionally hijacked basically. So when certain things happen, you're going to get triggered and you're going to freak out. And so you got to work on loosening up your physiology and your nervous system. And so the consciousness exercises, which are on the homepage of my YouTube channel, if you just scroll all the way down to the bottom, and Chunky has just dropped the playlist link in the chat. You should put those on your big screen TV and block out like an hour, hour and a half, and just do stages 1 through 12. I would suggest doing that 3 times a week, like a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday type thing. And especially maybe a couple hours before you're going to go out with your buddies and drink and have a good time or whatever, meet girls. It'll make you feel like you can walk through a wall. And then if you can afford it, I would fly to Orlando and get worked on by Dr. Deanna for about 2 weeks straight. And because that'll really help you loosen up your physiology because you're kind of stuck in a perspective. And network care will help you get out of that perspective, loosen up, feel peace in your body, and you're no longer going to be getting overwhelmed when you talk to women. You'll just feel like it's, ordering a Happy Meal at McDonald's or ordering nachos Bel Grande at Taco Bell. It won't be a big deal.
He also said he was seeing her hooking up, and then I just reverted back to being impatient, needy. I drove to her house when she didn't want that.
Yeah. I also saw that
You
as
got to
well.
have other choices and other women, and you got to apply what's in the book and see that it works.
Yeah, he
And
says he bought the book. He hasn't read it. He bought it right now.
yeah, well, if you bought it but you haven't read it, it's
No, he
like,
just bought it. Like,
so how long you been following me? It's like you got to do better. You got to participate in your own rescue, dude. You need to pull your head out of your butt and start really taking this seriously. Because your life is fucking zipping by, man. I started what I'm doing as professionally 2 decades ago. When I think about that and contemplate it, it feels like a few months ago, really. It doesn't feel that long ago. And I just I can't believe I'm already 55. It's just, and if you're young, your life is going by really fast, but you don't really realize how fast it's going by because you haven't lived long enough. But it's moving at such a pace. Next thing you know, 3, 4 decades have gone by, and it's like, and you're older. And so you need the time when you're in your youth to be really good, to master something, to become really successful at it, so you can increase your income earning potential. Because you don't want to be 70 years old and just kind of hitting your groove. It's like most people tend to waste their teenage years and their 20s trying to figure themselves out what they want to do with their lives. But if anybody that's read Mastering Yourself, which again is free to read, it's free information, and there's a lot of wisdom in there. It took me decades to learn and learn the hard way. Is that it's a lot of it's a process of trial and error and being efficient. In other words, applying actions. Because the one thing I realized when I was small is that a lot of the things I was doing, I was pissing away my time. I was spinning my wheels. I was very inefficient. But as I became successful and I became older, and because I just was spinning my wheels so much and trying all these different things, I was getting wisdom. And I was eliminating a lot of things that weren't working. And so by the time I got into my early 30s, I had stacked up a lot of wisdom and a lot of time and a lot of permutations that gave me wisdom and perspective on things. And so I was more efficient in my 30s than I was in my teenage years and my early 20s, and it's a process. So you should, as a man, you should always be trying to grow and evolve to the next level. You should always be feeding your mind. That's why I'm on Twitter a lot, because I'm trying to find out what the hell is going on in the world, what's going on with AI, what's going on with technology, what's going on with government, what's going on with the banking system, what's going on with the central banks, what's going on with the communists around the world, what's going on with the Islamists around the world that think they're going to take over. You need to know all these things and understand it, Because again, it affects your net worth, it affects your ability to be self-reliant, it affects your portfolio, it affects your business. And if you're going to be self-reliant, you have to understand how the world works. And you just don't have time to waste. Because again, the decades are flying by. So every day you should be trying to go to bed every night feeling peace and contentment because you busted your ass. And you're always thinking, what do I got to get done today before I go to work, go to bed? What is the most important thing that must get done today? Or what are the most important things I must get done today before I go to bed? Because when you do that day in and day out, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade,
Time
where
after
you are in
time.
20 years, man, you end up way further ahead than you ever thought you would be. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in a decade. And when you just fuck around with video games and fucking off with your friends that are going nowhere in life, and weeks and months and years go by, that is a period of time you can't get back. You just burn those years up. And you could have been reading books, you could have been studying, you could have been learning, you could have been practicing, you could have been out talking to people, talking to women, traveling, building businesses. And again, it's just, man, life is fucking zipping by. It's like you're in a high-speed train, it's just, and boom, it's over. You don't realize it when you're young, but you're moving just as fast. But as you get a few decades under your belt, you're like, holy fuck, does this go by fast? Holy moly. Even at 55, I feel like I'm just getting started. Like I'm just starting to hit my stride. And all my close friends, they're kind of in the same place. They feel the same thing. Like one of my friends who we were talking about that, he didn't really take good care of himself and his body. He had a fucking heart attack 6 months ago. It's like, God. He's like, dude, I've been telling you for years. Oh, I know, man. Like he almost fucking died. You got to take care of your body too. Because if you don't take care of your body, it's going to break down and you're going to die. You're going to die sooner than you should have.
Yes. Working things out with my ex pretty much requires good night calls and for the most part good morning or coffee sent to work. How might this look if she moves in? She has 2 boys, I have 1. Big risk with kids.
Pretty much requires good night calls and for the most part good morning or coffee sent to work. So you're required to send coffee to your ex-girlfriend's work every day? He's like, what? Well, you're not back together yet, so I wouldn't be talking about moving in. Your job is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Because if you just spend all your time on the phone and hardly seeing each other, then you basically become her emotional tampon and you get a bad case of blue balls. You should be dating at least once a week, and you should be able to see each other multiple times during the week to get together for a booty call or whatever. Bottom line is, if women like you, they're going to want to spend time with you, and if they don't, they're going to want to keep you on the phone and always have excuses as to why they can't meet in person. So it sure sounds like you're spending a lot of time talking on the phone and buying her coffee every day and very little time in person. And thinking about moving in together is kind of silly because it doesn't look like you're really even dating and hooking up. You're just you sound like a Harry Honda doing things for her. So you became the gay male girlfriend. Her emotional tampon on the phone and her therapist, and you hardly ever see her in person. So if you're not hooking up, you're just friends. And if you're trying to attract your ex back, you should be following what's in 7 principles to get an ex back. Because typically when a guy is required to call and make good night and good morning texts, the girl just gets bored and never sees him. Meanwhile, she's hooking up with Chad Thundercock behind his back.